The 1420 Sports Podcast, four beer with sports talk and a whole lot more. Show 160, December 9th, 2021, which is also the sound guy, Jim Neutron, Boy Genius's birthday. The Jimmy Schwarn, happy 20th birthday, my friend. Out and about. He's going to a karaoke punk rock bar tonight in Vancouver. Gonna get his singing on or whatever he's going to do. Hope you have a good night tonight, Jim. But happy birthday to you. And but don't be too banged up tomorrow night to produce this show and put some music to it, everything else. But we'll see you in a couple of weeks for Christmas. Happy birthday, Jim.
This is news to me. Happy birthday, Jim. 20 years old. You know what? I would bet a full 10% of my wardrobe is older than 20 years.
I have things that are older than 20 years for sure. There's no doubt about that. Not shoes and socks or underwear or anything, but there's definitely shirts in my wardrobe that
I have t-shirts that are older than 20. I think I have two pair of jeans from my 20s, which is unfortunately 30 years ago. So
yeah. Actually, on that note, Dave, I've asked the other producer, Deanne, this question. Other than like a concert t-shirt that you wear to say if you went to a second Dave Matthews Band concert that has the year of the show on it, you can wear that shirt to another concert. Can you wear that shirt out in public? Because, dude, you're wearing a 20-year-old t-shirt.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm getting at?
I know exactly where you're going at, and I say absolutely.
Okay.
It means something to me, and if you want to talk to me about it, I'll definitely talk to you about it. It means, you know what? If one wears that shirt, you can talk about. If you get asked about it, then you can talk about it.
I got you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, and it's especially if you're at an event, or you're out and about, and you don't know who you're going to meet. I like to say those kind of things for social gatherings where I may or may not know somebody. And if someone asks me about it and they're a fan, now I have something to talk about.
I have a conversation to start with. I'm not telling you about my shirt.
Right.
But I will tell you about it, but I'm not going to tell you about it.
I'm wearing my super fan tattoo. Right. And if you want to talk about my tattoo, it's kind of like when I go and wear my 1420 podcast hat to curling.
I won't bring it up, but if you're asking, I'm telling.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't talked about our podcast much at curling.
It is strange. Like there are people who will talk your ear off about it. Other people are like, what the fuck's that? And we don't care. So it is weird, but it's anyways. We're getting there. We're progressing up the ranks.
One of these days.
That's good. Anyways, Dave, I got a one shot left from Hell's Basement tonight. One shot left is it's an IPA, but it's named after a band that carouses they went on tour for a little bit around Western Canada. They were quite big punk rock band. The guys are pretty good. I met all three members. So they got a beer named after them. They got back together for a reunion show last year, the year after. So one shot left, New England IPA. I quite enjoy it. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking, my good wife was down in Montana 2 weeks ago. She brought me home a mixer pack of Sierra Nevadas. Mm-hmm. They're IPAs. They're really good. I'm drinking those between the kings. I'm trying to save the Sierras for the
different
first
occasions.
One of the night. Yeah, well, no, the first one of the night, you know. But then once it comes to Jesus didn't turn the water into Budweiser; he turned it into a nice IPA.
There you go, or Bud Light. Anyways, Dave, the Vancouver Canucks announced today after their house cleaning with Travis Green and Jimmy Benning on over the weekend that they went with Jim Rutherford as their, I think it's just GM now or president now. It's one or the other, but not GM and president. They're kind of just give him both titles, whatever. I don't know why it's two separate things, but he's 72 years old, multiple success with multiple teams over the years. It just kind of goes to what we talked about last week a little bit with the hirings of older guys. You got Tony La Russa, Dusty Baker in baseball. You got Rutherford going here. It goes to show that sometimes the old guard still can teach the new dogs some tricks, because the nerds aren't winning yet. You know what I mean? Like the analytics things, and you have a topic you want to get into later on. You sent me a message last night, but eventually the old dogs still know a little bit, and they're still teaching the young pups a little bit. And these hirings are still happening where they're like, okay, well, we tried the younger guys, it didn't work. And we tried the inexperienced guys, it didn't work. I'm not saying that always happens that way, but it just seems in the last couple of years, teams that were leaning towards the younger analytics driven teams, they're kind of going, oh fuck, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Maybe we should just stick with things. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that the nerds haven't taken over yet. And the numbers have not taken over. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I'm going to totally disagree on that. Like Jim, when you say, yes, Jim Rutherford has had success in the NHL in his career, and it's true. But has he had success since Pittsburgh won their last cup? I don't think he has. He's had jobs. He's been employed. But he gets shown the door. Like, Vancouver's a different situation right now, I think, because they're in such turmoil. And I think someone like Rutherford and Boudreau might just give stability and just, okay, let's figure this fucking thing out. Let's just,
well, that's a good point.
Let's just literally put this in cruise control, and just people that know how to do the job and can just carry on and not make shit worse. That's what we want right now.
Let's not split the atom. Let's get us back to just mediocre instead of terrible. Let's just steady this ship a little bit, and so let's not reinvent the wheel,
because shit's wrong.
Because shit's not good, and the team that we have right now isn't good. The fan base, and I think Dave, with Vancouver especially, like, we'll talk about them with what pisses me off. One of our listeners saying what pissed him off, and you said the Vancouver fans, and with Vancouver fans, they needed some stability, and they needed a bit of a prop up, because if they would have went with something different and that didn't work, holy Christ, you got a complete wreck. Whereas if you go with some normalcy, I guess, with names that you know, instead of hiring somebody that you don't know, like, we're doing this again, would have been the fans' question. Like, we're trying something different again. So maybe you're right on that aspect.
Yeah, like what we've been trying to do, and switching directions, and new coach, and new philosophy. It's not working, and we touched upon it on the last episode, I think, about how you were mentioning how throwing jerseys on the ice pisses you off a little bit. At the end of the day, that's not a fuck you to the players. That's a fuck you to the owner, to the organization. Like, you are cashing my checks every friggin' month, and this is what you're giving me. Yeah. Like, no, I am done. And that's, it's a message. I like when I said it flippantly, like, you're taking your $250 jersey and throwing it on the ice.
At a game you probably spent $400 for the ticket, beers, parking, everything else.
Yeah, like that you spent like $500. Like, it's, if you're a season ticket holder, you get in. It's 6 hours of commitment from leaving your house to getting back at your house, and then it's $400 to $500 per game to go. Like, you have one or two beer, and that's it. That's all it takes. If you have a good seat, if you're close enough to throw your jersey on the ice, you got a $300 seat. Yeah, and then you're probably there with a friend, right? So, like, go jam it. It's not about the money. And it's not about the money. It's about that's 2 or 3 days work. It's and you're disrespecting me as a person, as a consumer, as someone who you want my money. You don't need my money, but you want my money. The reason you have this franchise is for me to have this ass in the seat, and this is the crap you're putting out in front of me day after day after day. Fuck your hat. Dave, you heard last night Nick Nurse and the Raptors calling out his players because they're quite bad. They put up terrible game. They lost a Memphis team that just last week lost to I can't remember who they lost to by 70 points.
You can't lose to a team that lost by 70 points at any point in the season. Nick Nurse called those players, said they weren't good enough, fast enough, they didn't try hard enough, everything else. Sutter, he went a different route that says, if you don't shoot, like he never said who, but if you don't skate in a Sutter way, he said, if you don't skate good enough, you don't shoot good enough, you don't pass good enough, you're going to lose. And so he's calling his players in a Sutter way, being very subtle about it. But do you like that move by the coaches with success? And that's why I think some older coaches can say things like that. Like, I mean, Sutter doesn't have, no, he has, they both have championships, Nurse with the Raptors, Sutter with the Kings, obviously. Do you think having a coach with that kind of pedigree can go out and call players out? And what benefit does a coach, do you think, with today's athlete, does it do a coach any good by calling out a player to the public?
It's
It's a slippery slope.
It is like and in games right now where like every single person, I won't say in hockey, I don't think so, but in basketball, every single person that sees more than 5 minutes of court time makes more than the coach. There's no doubt in my mind. And then, so how do you motivate people that are making more money for you than you? How do you, because if you've checked out and you're taken care of financially, there's no way to possibly deduct income from them. That check is coming to them, whether you want. Now it's a matter of motivation, and that's, I think, that as apart from X's and O's and scheming them up, I think you gotta really dig into what drives the competitive spirit in your team and your individual players.
Well, that's the thing, Dave. No matter who you are, what line of work you're in, what business you're in, whatever, there's everybody's motivated by one thing or another. Everybody gets motivated differently, whether it be tough love, whether it be a high five or a bum slap or anything else, or because a pat in the back's only 3 feet from kicking the ass. And it's a fine line to motivate from player A to player B to worker A to worker B, right? You know what I mean? So I don't know, like with these guys, especially the NBA guys who make so much money, they can say, dude, shut up. I don't like you. We're not winning anyways. We're not, like, our team isn't that good. I'm making $30 million a year. We're not beating that. We're not beating that team for a championship. So why call me out, man?
And then the kid, you have to
like what good to do the coach, because the coach is the first one out.
Yeah, I 100% understand, and I have no idea how once, and I'm wondering too, like we've talked about it before, how about the NFL, how there's like an elite group, there's a huge middle group, and there's teams that just stink, and teams are tanking all the time. For like, you're tanking for another first round draft pick. Like, come on, give your head a shake. But like, how do you motivate? How do you change the culture? How do you make players really want to win? And I get that's at the core of it. That's why we all play sports. A, because we like it. B, because it's fun. But the more you get older, you don't have to be that old to know winning's better than losing.
Would you, if you're a GM, let's go back to Rutherford's now the GM of the Canucks. The draft's coming up. They're going to get a good draft pick. Do you take the guy? And let's go with every team now. I just thought of this. Would you take player A who's skilled, 9 or 10, and every picks off the boxes? He's awesome. Hasn't won a fucking thing. Or do you take the guy who's won at every level but might not be as skilled? I take the guy who's won at every level. So you know what? He's already won. He goes, this is better than losing. This is better than losing.
No, and
it's not about me, man. It's not. I take that guy who's won at every level, no matter what. I would go in a heartbeat.
No, I hear what you're saying, but like, how's Jacksonville doing with Trevor Lawrence? That's exactly Trevor Lawrence, right? Yeah. The first regular season
game. Always throw that wolf, butts at me, but yeah, this makes a good show.
No, it's true, because the only regular season, he hadn't lost a regular season game in his life. Like it was like
Like not
literally
even in high
his
school, I don't
life.
think. Yes, it's Pop
Yeah.
Warner or something. Yeah.
Until he got his first game in Jacksonville, right? And now, you can't ask a 21-year-old to lead men because I get it. He has the talent, he has the swagger, he has everything. But now we're playing a whole different ball game.
A
So I
whole different game.
do understand the intangible about being a winner and being a leader for a winner all the way through, which once again Trevor Lawrence was. What I would do probably in Vancouver's, unless they're just sold on someone who's going to be in the top 5 or whatever, I'd trade that pick and bring someone in that a stabilizer.
Yeah.
I don't have a name in my head right now, and like someone like Joe Thornton is too old. Someone like Patrick Mahomes,
let's talk football here. Like let's just say, for sake conversation, because that's what podcasts are. It's all hypotheticals. It's all bullshit, and no one's listening anyways. But let's just say that Green Bay wasn't sold on Love, correct? And
Right.
whatever. And Rodgers was up for grabs this past summer. Hey, do you want the first round pick for Aaron Rodgers? I make that deal in a heartbeat. Would Rodgers agree to it? No, he says no trade, all that other stuff. But if I'm Green Bay, yes, they're going to win, but he doesn't want to play there and everything else. But I make that trade. I don't make the trade because Rodgers because the team they have now is still going to win Super Bowl. But I would consider it.
Well, up to this year, like that's going to be an excellent offseason. I think Rodgers can opt out after this year.
Yeah.
Like he's not a free agent. I don't know if it's club option or his option. I believe there is a wide open opportunity for him to leave if he wishes.
Let's just say if there was no such thing as no trade clause, everything else, I'm trading you for him. I would consider that trade because Rodgers on the end of his lease doesn't want to be in Green Bay anyways.
I think he wants to be in Green Bay. I think he wants a Super Bowl. I think he wants one more Super Bowl. Well, whatever. Even though he was a total idiot this year with that whole vax, yeah. But I'm still a Rodgers fan, and he can quarterback my team anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Good player, like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, not good, great player. Anyways,
yeah.
No, it's just I just find it odd that these old guys are still getting the jobs. College football, the younger guys starting to get the job, but the older guys are still the ones that are winning. Allen, Nick Saban, but he gets the best player, so that's kind of a hard comparison. But
anyways, he's built the machine that keeps feeding on itself, right?
So that's just it. No, you just wondered. When's the last time you actually saw the movie Revenge of the Nerds?
Oh,
and did you like it when it first came out?
Oh, loved it.
I thought it was hilarious.
I was in high school. Yeah. A couple of buddies and I, we would when we would go to both my folks worked. I lived really close to school, and when we had my license, we would come to my house for lunch.
Yeah. And
then we would have our lunch. We all still had lunches packed by our moms. This is in high school, because that way we can just fucking jet to my house and watch a movie for 45 minutes. And we would watch like a movie thing, and Revenge of the Nerds was one of them that we had on tape. Yeah, because how's this for dating myself? Every now and then, there was as far as movie channels, there was 2: Super Channel and First Choice. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember those for sure.
And then so once or twice a year, you would have it free for the weekend.
Yeah,
I had the VCR just bomb.
Yeah,
I would tape honestly 15, 20 movies at on those weekends. And Revenge of the Nerds is one.
I remember that stuff.
Did you ever watch the movie Top Secret?
Oh yeah.
That's one of my, when I was 16 or 17, when that cow came around the corner in rubber boots, I don't know if I've ever laughed harder in my life.
All those days were good. Eh? I don't think, I think the movies were so bad. They were so good though. Good.
but they couldn't help. They like it was on creativity and dialogue and sight gags, not CGI and stuff.
There was no money. They just somebody with a sense of humor made this shit up in one take. Well, here we
Oh
go.
man, it was so better. Like, oh, give me those. I would like to know what it feels like to be 16 again in grade 11, coming home for movies. Oh man, being an adult.
Gratuitous titty shots and everything else.
Oh, gratuitous. I saw a tit. I saw a tit.
Yeah. What did Boogers?
Cow,
we won't say that. I saw Bush. But anyways, 1420 Sports Podcast, Revenge of the Nerds.
Gentlemen, we have Bush.
There we go. Revenge of the Nerds. What a movie. The Nerds are winning a little bit in the sports world too. The old guys are still trying to take charge, but it's gonna be a thing. Jim, once again, happy birthday to you. We'll talk to you probably tomorrow. I got some ideas. I want to brush across your coconut. Go ahead, Dave.
Happy birthday, Jim. But like, yeah, I'm gonna try and take the Nerds down a peg or two here in my little segment coming up.
Dave came up with a segment to come up with last night, so we'll let him run with this one here. 1420 Podcast, Four Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. For those of you who are new to the show, 1420 has nothing to do with 420, although one of the two of us partakes in that a little bit once in a while here and there.
I made some new butter this last weekend, and so today's the test run of the peanut butter.
There we go.
So,
anyways, 1420, the 1420 Podcast. What it is Four Beer with a Sports Talk. A can of beer in Canada is 355 millimeters. 355 times 4 is 1420. So that's how I came up with the 1420 Sports Podcast. Four Beer with Sports Talking a whole lot more. So there you go. For those of you who didn't know. So now spread the good word about the 1420 Sports Podcast. Anyways, Dave, you texted me last night an idea you had for the analytics and the numbers, which I'm not a big fan of. The eye test and the gut feeling is how I grew up playing sports and watching sports and participating in the whole thing and coaching at the minor sports level. But the analytics have taken over, like we talked about. The nerds they've taken over. So, but Revenge of the Nerds is the thing. But Dave, you got some ideas that maybe the nerds aren't always right with how the numbers game work. Give me a few examples, and I'll give you my opinion about what you got going on.
Well, this is what I want to talk about. Like, obviously, the Tampa Bay Rays have it figured out, and when one team does have it figured out and kind of perfects a way of diagnosing baseball and bringing it down to numbers, because you can't argue with their success. You can't argue with their you can't argue with their in-game management, like the World Series. We'll talk about that forever. But I was listening, so I'm just going to go right into it. I was listening to a podcast about football the other day. I'm going to ask you a question.
All right.
Who is the fifth, like the QBR rating in NFL? Who is the fifth best quarterback of all time, according to QBR rating? You know what I'm talking about? Like that. Yeah. Sometimes it's 95. Sometimes it's like 145.
And the 100's best of all time. Like 100's a really good game.
Who's playing right now? Who is active?
Oh, he's still playing?
Still playing right now.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Played I was just going to say, your second hint was played tonight. Kirk Cousins.
He's terrible.
I
wouldn't let Kirk Cousins quarterback the LCI Rams.
Can you believe that? This QBR rating that they tell us all the time, like, and they put it on the screen. And I, like, when I heard the podcast, I was walking my dog and I out loud said, shut up. And then as soon as I got home, I checked it up. He is.
So that goes against what I just said, that this guy's top 5 ever
in QBR rating.
He doesn't win. He's not very good, and he doesn't win. Let's say that. So 2 out of those 3 things I just said are he doesn't win. But he's a top 5 in QB rating, which is QBR, which is this great big massive thing that everybody talks about, and that's the stat that's on the bottom of the TV all game long. His QBR is this, his QBR is that. You know what? He didn't fucking win. Cousins stinks. That's a stupid rating.
Doubt.
So right there, that one is wrong.
It's without a doubt wrong. And I'll tell you the ones. I have the list right in front of me. The ones above him, here's how it goes. Pat Mahomes, like minimum 50 games played.
Yeah.
Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins. Those are the top 5 all the time, which makes me wonder now, all the greats that you think of great quarterbacks of all time, the top 5 are all active. Is it, are the stats being skewed, or like the way they keep stats are
the way
players,
the way they're keeping stats, the way they're keeping stats, and players are playing for stats. Because if I can do a little dump up the middle for 5 yards, and I don't get in trouble, and I this much, I don't interception, and I'm not big play Dave and everything else. The
players play the stats some.
Okay, this is what the players play the stats, and that's where owners in baseball are fucking screwing the players over because, well, you didn't, but with the baseballs, no home runs here, no home run there. So the players are playing the stats, and the owners, on the other hand, the other sports are playing the stats. So it's the stats are screwing both sides right now, because is Mahomes great? Yeah. Is he the greatest ever? No. He's played 50 fucking games, won 1 Super Bowl. Greatest quarterback ever. You won't agree with me on this, but is probably Joe Montana. He's won a lot. Or Brady.
Okay.
Sorry, Brady. So where's Brady on this list?
I have it. Joe Montana is number 17. Tom Brady is, I'm looking for him.
So Kirk Cousins is better than
here, I'll give you some names. Kirk Cousins, like a number 6 on the list, is Drew Brees. So contemporary. Oh, Tom Brady's number 8.
So QB rating.
Yeah, QB rating. All-time QB rating. Number 10 is Steve Young. Number 11 is Peyton Manning. Joe Montana is number 17. He gets nosed out by number 16, David Carr of the Las Vegas Raiders. So David Carr has a better career QB rating than
the rules
Joe
are
Montana.
different now with roughing the passer, pass rush, pass interference, all the whole thing. The way they would get beat up and killed by the defensive line, murdering these guys, get up, dust themselves off, and throw another pass to see another day. But these guys nowadays, prima donna quarterbacks, and it's every sport, not just football, but we're focusing on football right now. But the stats skew the system, man. Because some nerd can make up a stat WRC plus. I still don't know what it means. I'm a baseball guy. Like all these stats, some guy can type up whatever stat he possibly wants and make it work in his favor. No matter what, there is something you can make in your favor.
Without a doubt.
And that's what analytics does. I can make this quarterback look great. I can make this centerman look great on power plays in his own zone, on face-offs on the left side. He's so great. But does he score goals? I don't care.
Is he a fucking winner? Like you said earlier on, with who you're going to draft? Are you going to draft like the shiny new toy, or are you going to draft the most
stats drive me bonkers, man? Like go ahead. Sorry, Dave. I'm getting interrupted, but like when we were talking about it, I was sitting at the garage after work there and think about your numbers and things. And one thing that kind of made me crazy was thinking, are we going to get to a point, whereas if you look back and had player A, I'm going to say player A, if you have a Hank Aaron, the actual home run king, not Barry Bonds,
my home run king,
whereas he would be up to bat in the 9th inning, let's say in 2032. Hear me out here. If he was at bat, and I don't know what his average was against right-handers and left-handers in the 9th inning, whatever. The guy's the home run king. Is it going to get to a point where a Hank Aaron would get pulled for a pinch hitter because he doesn't get the hit against a left-hander in the 9th because the numbers don't say it? Is it going to get to that point?
I never think it will get to that point, because a home run hitter is always going to be a home run hitter, and they're a difference maker. And even if they're in a slump, you're rather going to be that guy. I want to get back to this QB heart rating thing and just give you
Sorry about
like
for getting on a tangent.
no, it's okay, but I want to stay on topic on this one a little bit, just to let you know how ridiculous QBR rating is. Like, so just like it's we're just gonna do a quick little who's better, Tony Romo or Chad Pennington.
Romo.
Romo's better. Chad Pennington or Andrew Luck.
Luck.
Pennington's better. Who's better, Philip Rivers or Drew Brees?
Breeze.
Brees is better. Who's better, Carson Palmer or
Palmer played at USC, so I'm biased on this one.
Or Jared Goff?
Oh, Palmer's better than Goff. Goff's terrible, man.
Goff is 20 on this list, and Palmer is 31.
Goff is terrible. There isn't 32 teams that want Jared Goff as their quarterback right now.
Carson Wentz or John Elway?
Elway.
Elway's not even on the top 50.
Stats are wrong.
So there we go.
Stats are bullshit.
That QBR rating is absolute bullshit. And sorry, like we went on a little bit, but I want to now talk about other sports and what I think. I don't have any answers. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
I'm just
testing victories.
I'm here to poke holes. That's all I'm going to do. I'll do a quick one because I think this one will have the least amount of discussion. No, I'm going to save that one in case we have any time left. Hockey. In the NHL, this Corsi, you always hear about the Corsi rating, and like, I don't know what it means, but I've heard like about it. So from what I was able to glean in like the 5-minute read that I did, Corsi is all about shots on your net while you're on the ice against shots on the other net. It's kind of a plus minus, but with shots on goal. Because
chances, puck possession,
right? It means the team is doing better when you're on the ice. Like you're either taking shots or giving odd shots.
I'd rather have my team do better when I'm on the ice than when I'm off. Than I'm not.
Right. You want to be shooting, not blocking. Is exactly kind of what like that's what I. So we're on the same page as to what Corsi means. So when you're a third liner and get to play against other third liners, and you have a Corsi of 10, because you're playing against third liners, but then like you have one shift a night against Sid Crosby and McDavid, all of a sudden your Corsi goes down to 2. Like, how does that make it? How do you understand if you're a better player playing against better people? I don't know how to put it into words, but we understand what I'm trying to say.
Just last week, Chris Russell, ex-Mets Tiger, all-time great Tiger. He just got the most shots blocked in NHL history, 1,950 or whatever it was. So he has a bad Corsi
because he's blocking shots, right? His
Corsi's no good, so his stats are no good. But guy blocks shots. He does what he's supposed to. He's a defenseman. So that's another bullshit number. There's always going to be a player. So now if your Corsi's bad, maybe the rest of the players in front of you are bad. So I'm assuming that Russell's Corsi would be not very good. I don't know.
But it seemed like any Oilers team.
Does he make the other guy's Corsi better because he blocks a shot, passes up, and then David gets a shot on goal? You know what I'm getting at?
Oh no, without a doubt, and that's a
bullshit stat too.
It's an absolute bullshit. But like they always talk about Corsi, and I never understand. I still don't understand. I still don't understand it because the better competition you play against, like you know what, like if you're Sid Crosby playing against me, you know you're gonna have his Corsi is going to be like 25, and mine's going to be -5. But if I'm playing against you, you're still a better hockey player than I am. And then, but now I'm like at a 2 and you're at a 10.
But what if you're in a bad division? Like, look at
I
a good player in a bad division. So do they like? Is there people who go, well, his Corsi's this, so is there a plus minus Corsi? Like, just either you're good or you aren't. Either you
or is it
win or you don't.
is it comparative to your team? Like on your
Who's
team, like,
comparative to though?
that's what I don't know. Like I
If
said
my
when I
if my
started this,
team isn't very good, then I'm probably not going to be a very good Corsi because
are
we're
you
going to
making?
like, if let's say if you were a good player but salary cap happened, you had to go and you got sent to Seattle Kraken this year in the expansion draft. I had a 12.6 Corsi, but now I'm playing with a bunch of hacks. I'm a 4.2 Corsi. Is that true? Like, you didn't get drafted in the June to the Western League draft, which happened yesterday. You didn't get drafted in NHL, blah blah blah, because of your Corsi. Corsi only happens at the elite levels where they have all these stats guys. It's all fucking bullshit. Eye test is what makes you good. It's what makes you get better. Everything else, when a scout sees what you can do, that gets what you get you drafted. Maybe the the bullshit stats might get you another couple of zeros in your bank account when you're already at a mid level. But when you're really good, those stats don't matter, man. They don't. They do not matter.
I agree with what you're saying, but like the subtext I want to get to here now is now you got people somewhere, someplace in the stadium. I don't know how much money they're making. I don't know who they're working for. I don't know if they're subcontracted, but you have someone with a stopwatch watching your guy. Like there must, there honestly,
Yeah.
like for time on ice, there must be, unless they don't break it down because the stats are on like any website.
Every
you say,
NHL, every
as soon as the game is
NHL.com.
done, as soon as the game is
Time on
done,
ice,
they
every
have their
player has
time
it.
as
Yeah.
time on ice. So there has to be like 5 guys with stopwatches and writing down. There has to be. There has to be guys.
Minimum.
Okay, and then like hits, shots, saves. Someone like there's one person for every stat. There has to be.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how do you generate those stats that
Insane.
quickly?
And they're on NHL.com like right now.
Exactly. And then so who's paying those guys? The league or the team? The home team? Is the home team paying for both sides? Or do you bring your own stat guy for the
The
team?
cost of analytics, does it pay?
Well, like, and then like this is the other thing. This isn't gambling, but it is a way. No, but listen, like say an agent gets like has a guy on a contract, has a guy on a contract here, and you honestly have 40 people with stopwatches and tracking shots and tracking blocks and stuff like that. And that if you have that many people doing that job, they can't be paying them more than 20 grand a season. I don't know.
Dave honestly thought that they're interns who get a job with the team.
I have no idea.
Like, let's say the Flames. Let's say the Flames will go to SAIT and ask a bunch of kids. Like, I'm just throwing this out there. They go to a bunch of kids who are in broadcast marketing, broadcast journalism, la da 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 da. Hey, do you want a job for the? We'll give you a fucking golf shirt and a hoodie. Sit in the stands with a stopwatch.
But we don't know. We don't know shit. We don't know how people get these jobs. You don't
know.
No,
we don't. So I'm just thought that might be how it happens. I don't know.
But an agent who is running 10 players who are making like $6 to $8 million a year and a couple $4 million a year, what's $1,000? Hey, when number 4 is on the ice, let's make sure the stopwatch stops before the goal is scored. Like I think from what I understand about Corsi, it would be so easy to manipulate in a contract year, especially.
Like and then on the other hand, Dave, like you just said, like were these stats created to make players more money, to make agents make more money? Because the stats don't, to me, as I've been watching for 47 fucking years, they mean nothing to me. Like I do not. I look at goals, assists, and points, wins, losses. I look at plus minus a little bit because I still think it's important, but the rest of this stuff, like the one that makes the projected goal total. Well, but he didn't score. Like he or almost goal. I can't remember the term, but it was like but he didn't score. Like he didn't. So who cares? Well, he almost did, but he didn't. Like he didn't. So who cares?
See, and I understand why the plus minus does go away because of the power play and because I found a hockey database that's just awesome. I'll retweet it. I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But Ovechkin is like almost a minus player without his power play goals. He's so deadly.
He's an anomaly. Me and Jim
He
were
is.
talking about that a couple of weeks back when I was out in Victoria. There we were talking about how he sets up on that left hand side or right hand side looking down the ice, but how he sets up on that same spot for 20 years now, winds up and he's always open.
Brett Hall.
I will never understand how Ovechkin's been open for as long as he's been open.
If
he's playing right now, like I don't no, I'm watching a different game. I'll bet he's standing right there right now.
He's Brett Hall.
It's crazy.
How is no one saying that? Why does it like when Brett Hall goes there? What I would say, just lay in front of him. Lay in front of him.
He's shooting. He's not passing.
Yeah, because with a player and his stick that's honestly like 14, 15 feet, you ain't getting us past here. And same with Brett Hall back in the day. But like so now I've poked a hole in the Corsi rating, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
No, it's a different it's weird for sure.
Do you want me to poke a hole? I don't know how much we want to go on. I can go
one more quick one.
One more quick one. Okay, like in baseball they have the Golden Glove Award every year, right?
Yeah.
And the Golden Glove, like every position gets an award, and it's usually like the best fielding person at that position.
Yeah.
And then so there was one year where
Chesterfield's got 5. Anyways.
10. That's who we're talking about. We're talking about his last Golden Glove in 2010, I think it was. He had only 10 errors. Whereas every single analytic pointed that the fact that maybe this Alex Ramirez out of Chicago, who had 20 errors, maybe should have got that award. I'm going to tell you why. Because
he got to more balls.
Jeter got to 500 balls that year. Ramirez got to over 700. He had 10 more errors, but the analytics showed, the numbers showed that for every error was worth 5 more outs because he got to 200 more balls.
Yeah.
Why should the numbers and this is the thing. This isn't an attack on Chesterfield. It really is not. But
Jesus.
Well, it's not.
A few months ago, he was your favorite. I don't know what's going on now. Jesus.
Chesterfield's never been my favorite. You know that. But I do envy his life. I won't deny that. But just because the numbers say this, I don't understand why the numbers don't work in a thing like Golden Glove, right? So this is the numbers not working again.
Well, once again, I think, Dave, that because that can go, if you want to get deeper into that, with baseball, you could, and because once again, I'm not a stats guy, but what pitching did each team have? Did each team have more ground ball guys? Did each team have more fly ball guys? Did each team did they pitch better against right hands? Like there's so much that the nerds get into that I would have thought of 10 years ago. That, and I shouldn't keep saying nerds, but I'm going to because it's Revenge of the Nerds night apparently. But so if you don't get as many attempts, should the least errors win? No, because like I said, sometimes you get the balls you shouldn't, and then you're at the mercy of Mabel up in the booth, who's calling what's in there the official score, right? So it's, I don't know, like you're at the mercy. You're actually at the mercy of them too.
You actually say this, but his last Gold Glove was, I think, 6 years after his last one. Like, he did get a couple in his younger years, but this was in his later years. In his early years, he got to over 700 twice.
Yeah.
The last Gold Glove was 500. So you're telling me that the pitching staff and
No.
opportunities- It sounded like you were defending him a little bit.
No, I
by
wasn't.
saying-
That he left my mind completely. I'm just saying that
Okay.
with Golden Gloves and with I don't think that the guy with the least error should win it. I think there should be a percentage of balls to get. There should be a nerd thing, a stat that says Golden Gloves, and I don't think, like, and I'm a baseball dork, I've said it 1,000 times in this show. I don't think that over the course of 162, an error here, an error there can make or break your season. It doesn't help, but Jesus, there's so much more that can go wrong than an error. Can an error cost, like, if you make 15 errors, do all 15 errors cost you 15 games? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, it's,
Oh no, without a doubt, especially in the like up the middle. Like,
Yeah.
if you can bat one down with a ball and like actually have a chance to throw to first and
Yeah.
then possibly airmail it, the fact that you had that in your hand for a chance at
might have
first
saved a run.
might have saved a run, right? And now you've given up, like, now the guy's standing on third as
Yeah.
opposed to you eating it in first and third, right?
Yeah.
And like, so it's a thing, but the absolute chance, the ability to make that play it's like kind of a, even though I don't like him, the Brett Favre conundrum, right? He's not afraid of throwing a double coverage. This has a 20% chance of working. But
When it does, man, I'm on ESPN and I'm a hero forever.
I would rather have Brett Favre with the ball
a
in
shot.
his hand as opposed to Kirk Cousins, the number 5 QBR rating quarterback
It's
of
all
all
about the
time.
middle and just go, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
crazy.
know,
No,
it's
stats are
Stat-
bullshit. Win or lose,
they're
man.
absolutely not bullshit, but at the end of the day, it's what you're going to do on the field. And who do you want the ball in your hand when the game is on the line? The guy with the
Chesterfield
best
Jeter.
QBR, the best, you like, and and fuck you as a final thing in Nagano in 1988. Fuck you, Mark
98.
Crawford.
Not 80.
for
88
not-
was Calgary, 98.
Oh, 9. That's what I said, didn't I?
You said 88. But
Oh,
whatever,
sorry.
listen.
Nonetheless, but anyways, fuck you, Mark Crawford, for putting Ray Bork instead of Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
He's not good at penalty shots. He has scored more goals than anyone in the history of the fucking
Done.
NHL. Let him be the fucking GOAT
Yeah.
on good or
Done.
bad.
Done.
Fuck you, Mark Crawford.
No, I agree. I think you win or lose with your best, and
with your best, and like no one has put the puck in that.
If you need some phantom stat to make you better than you are, you're not that good.
He's not good at breakaways.
Does that make sense? Like, if you need some phantom stat that didn't even exist 5 years ago, you ain't that fucking good, man.
I like my Crawford and I like the Colorado Avalanche, but after that, my disappointment.
Kirk Cousins, Jesus Christ.
Fuck you, Mark Crawford and Kirk Cousins. Congratulations on your 5th best QBR rating of all time with
You're ever gonna win.
with a 500 record.
Anyways, 1420 podcast. We got some good news tonight that we were included on a tweet from somebody, and man, it was quite a surprise for the company that we got included on. We'll get to that question and a whole lot more here in the 1420 podcast. 4 Beer with Sports Talk and a whole lot more. 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 Beer with Sports Talk and a whole lot more. Earlier on today, we got included somehow, some way. Paul Perillo at Chef PP3 included us on a tweet that included, of all people, man, some of the heaviest hitters in baseball. 2 of the heaviest hitters in baseball, Buster Olney and Jeff Passan. from ESPN, and John Boy Media, who's become a heavy hitter in the podcast world. And John, he's on the Yankees, got Yankee podcasts, everything else. We got included in a tweet from Paul Perillo from Let's Fix Baseball. It was asking some questions about the CBA on what we would like to see. How we got included with those three, I'm not sure, but you know what? I don't care right now because it kind of puts a smile on my face that he listens to the show a little bit and cares about what our opinion might be, or maybe he's making fun of us and maybe how dumb our opinion might be. But nonetheless, to get included with John Boy, Buster, and Jeff Passan's kind of an honor a little bit, Dave.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And as you said, asked or not, our opinions have been given. Yeah. So by this the format that we're giving on Twitter, if he's asking for our opinion, don't worry,
we'll give her.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so Let's Fix Baseball. I reached out to him. We chatted a little bit this past summer about what's right and wrong with baseball. And so we're including this tweet. Things we don't expect, but would love to see in the new CBA. There was 9 things for 9 innings of baseball. And Dave, 1 to 9, give me a yes or no, a quick reason why. But number 1, reduce service time. Yes or no?
100% agree. I think in baseball, you can draft kids as soon as they're 16, especially all those Dominican players. Once you hit the age of 20, if you're employed by the club, you have 4 years and then you're a free agent.
I'm going to give it 5, just because sometimes guys take a little bit longer to develop, and then you don't want to pay a guy too soon, and it might take some teams out of the running to sign a guy. I mean, the Padres did it with Tatis Jr. They signed him really early, but the problem I got with signing guys too early is that it might take them out of their running and that they can't afford the player.
I think from the age of 20, if you're like, it's okay, or sorry, I said that quite quickly. From the age of 20, if you're, or 10 years of contract, shit, it takes too long. I think I don't have it fully developed, but I do believe that Major League Baseball should allow their free agency a lot quicker than they do, because I think now absolute UFA status, you can't happen until the age of 27.
26, 27, I believe. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that, which is a little bit high.
It's pretty deep,
I think. Yeah. So I think reduced service time is yes. 100%
would you,
yes.
Dave, would you love to see anti-tanking measures, which would get rid of teams that are paying $42 million for their entire payroll, less than one Max Scherzer, anti-tanking rules? Because I'm going to go ahead on you on this one. I don't think teams should be allowed to tank, because it drives down the mid-level players' salaries. We've talked about it last week with revenue sharing, how teams get revenue no matter what. Anti-tanking hurts the team. I also believe that when you tank and you get a good draft pick, you look over the years. I mean, we're hockey in Canada. We're more hockey, obviously, and then we know the NFL draft. The Major League Baseball draft is so not followed a whole bunch with us. A guaranteed first round or first overall pick doesn't mean nothing. So what does tanking actually do other than put money in the owner's pockets?
Aside from a salary floor, it's impossible to enforce. That's the bad part about that one. Impossible to enforce. It's absolutely impossible.
Yeah, it's if you have a salary floor, then you can't tank. I totally agree.
Yeah, and then I don't know how else, like in the list of rules you would have to say, like, and then injuries and the caveats, and like it's I understand it. It's absolutely impossible to enforce, so you can't have that on the list.
Things you don't expect to see, except would love to see in the new CBA, inning number 3, anti-ball doctoring measures. I'm 100% for that. If you can't do what the good Lord gave you, then you can't do it, and you shouldn't be paid to what you're getting paid to do. If you need to doctor the ball, if you need to cheat, you shouldn't be able to do it. It's no different than steroids. It's no different than anything else. If you need to cheat to make your spin rate, which is the newest thing, another stat thing, if you can't do it, you shouldn't be paid to do it. I'm Dave, Garrett Cole, all you want. If you need to cheat to make yourself better, then you're not an elite athlete.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Here, listen, like just or just like define it. You're allowed to put sticky stuff on your index finger. That's it. Baseball players, the hitters have been allowed to cork. The hitters have been allowed to fucking steroid. They've been able to do anything. If you can put a little bit of, just a little bit of sticky stuff, and like maybe just even paint a pitcher's index finger, whatever finger they need, one finger, you get 1 inch of grippy shit, of league approved grippy shit, and then the league can make more money on selling their grippy shit. You get 1 inch of grippy shit, and that's it. If you find anything more than that little 1 inch of grippy shit, then you're out for 6 months, like steroids.
One thing I heard, it was a 16-team playoff format, but Let's Fix Baseball, they went with a 12-team playoff format. I think that we got enough playoff games right now. You're starting to run into later years. I say leave it how it was. Dave, you and I are young enough or old enough, sorry, to remember when it was only 4 teams. And then the wild card games. I love the wild card system. I think it's great. I would say leave it as it is. 12 games, 12 teams. Sorry, that seems a bit much to me.
I must agree. Like I 100%. That's ridiculous. Unless you shorten the season, there's simply not enough time in the fall for that. And I don't want to shorten the season because that would taint the records. And I'm all about the historic record.
The history of the game, absolutely.
Yeah.
Inning 5 of this Let's Fix Baseball 9 things we love to see about in the new CBA. A 3-game wild card series. I'm bent on this one. I'm twisted on this one.
I don't mind that, because you know what I think should be like in all European leagues. Well, when I say all European leagues, I mean European football. The champion of the league is the one held highest because you've excelled your excellence throughout the whole thing. It's not the playoffs. They don't have playoffs. It's just the league champion. It's always about the league championship.
Yeah.
And so in baseball, and I understand, and I do prefer the North American style of you reward and acknowledge the league champs, but it's all about the champion at the end after the playoffs. I think you have to reward the division winners. I think you have to give them a break. I think you have to let them, if you want to expand the wild card, I think you have to reward the division champion for going all out, especially if it's a close race, and let them rest their pitchers because they won their.
Because then you could set things up. So the wild card game, it's tough for me, but we'll split on that one. Dave, and you spoke very early. They said a 150 game season. I'm against that. I like 162. This one, we're both against that.
Because in the home chat, like every record is now done.
It's done.
It's done.
The record, those records will never be broken again. It's done.
Yeah.
Number 7, Dave, a pitch clock.
Without a fucking doubt.
Which is enforced.
It is. It's there, but I don't think it's.
They don't enforce it.
So what happens when it happens? Like, is that a ball? You just call a ball? Like, what do you do?
Well, it's supposed to be a ball or a strike against who?
So what's the penalty?
Nothing. Pitch clock is huge to me. Absolutely.
A pitch clock is huge, but now enforceable. So what's the penalty?
With if the pitchers walk around the mound fuming because he didn't get that strike 2 at the bottom of the knees, it's supposed to be. Then give him it's another ball. If a batter gets out of the box, which is the next one, if a batter gets out of the box and it's a pitch clock, he gets another strike against him. That's what it should be, in my opinion. Get in the fucking box.
But yeah, exactly. Stop thinking and looking and whatever. But so I just make definitive rules. Yeah. So when the catcher throws it back, once once it's like, so like after the first pitch, like I don't know how it's gonna go with batter in the box and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But after that first pitch, so like the second that ball hits the pitcher's glove, we got 30 seconds.
That's too long, man.
Well,
As an
then like
umpire, it's
whatever.
not- that's what the rule is, but it's just too fucking long.
Well, then call it and make it punitive. And like, okay. And then all of a sudden, ball.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
like, so the batter steps out, and then okay, so now it's 1-1, or I don't know, but
Yeah.
I do agree with the pitch clock.
I
But
do.
I my questions are about the enforcement of said rule. Like,
The
does the guy
problem,
get a
okay, Dave,
base?
the problem that you got is that you get down to the millisecond, then fucking you got Buck Showalter doing this, you got this manager doing that, like enforce this. You're gonna have a shit show on your fucking hands, man.
So like, yeah, exactly, like, and that's what I'm saying. The enforcement of said rule. So now it's the seventh
If
inning.
you let
and
Billy
it's
Martin kind of shit going on.
yeah, so you have bases loaded, full thing, and now it's like ball on a full count, and now you're down by a run. And the bases
Rule-
are still loaded, and then now you got another hitter with a fresh count.
Dave, number
Like-
8 on the Let's Fix Baseball ways things. We'd love to see the new CBA. Thank you for including this on this. Rule to keep batter in the box. We're both very vocal on this one. As an umpire in the WCBL, I don't understand why the fuck those guys got to get to the batter's box. Stand there, take a step, put 1 foot out. You're not bunting. You're not doing anything else. No one's watching. You don't need to fix your eye black. You don't need to do this.
Same thing.
Practicing. Stay in the fucking batter's box, man.
Get in here, get up to the plate, take your fucking hats.
And then these and then these players have the audacity when they're in the outfield, when I'm on the bases, saying, man, this game's taking too long. Oh, really? Oh, really? You have a big date tonight with Martha going to the fucking wherever tonight. This is on you, man. And you and all your teammates stay in the fucking box.
That's what maybe
Stay in
make
the
the
box.
batter maybe make the batter's box like, you know, the same, like the width of the plate, but now push it out to the grass. So it's
Yeah.
like 10 feet long. It's like if you're standing in here, he can, like, when I
He's
say
throwing.
pitch, he's throwing.
As soon as
Oh,
I say
okay,
play
I had
this,
to reset.
stay in the box.
No.
You don't need to get out of the box.
You get
It's
one.
not- and Major League Baseball even more. There's no stealing, there's no bunting, there's no hit and runs, stay in the box, man.
Uh-huh.
There's no reason for it.
You know your job right now, fucking give it a rip.
And inning number 9 of Let's Fix Baseball, which we're included on this tweet today, which is fantastic. A tie after 12 innings, do you call it?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't care, because
Like how many games go past 12 really? If it's a tie or whatever. Like we should maybe we'll get the statistician. We'll call her the new statistician. So the producer, maybe we'll get her because she would look up how many 12 inning games there has been in the last, let's go 5 years, and how that affect the schedule and how that affect the standings. Because there's not many 12 inning games. There isn't.
No.
And so if it ends in a
it's fairly
tie,
rare.
so let's say Milwaukee's playing Baltimore. All right.
Because
well,
like, you know, a tie on like a game 111 is like, it just sometimes shit happens, and now you're just throwing anyone out there, and now you have position players out there, and now you just want it to end. Like, the players don't care if they win or lose, they just really want it to be done. Like, I get it, they do care, but what's a tie?
But then play
Especially
to
now
win.
that- yeah, especially when you're starting, like, after the 9th inning, you're starting with a runner on second. And
yeah, no. Anyway,
I don't know.
anyways, Paul Perillo, thank you very much. That's at Chef PP3 on Twitter for including us with John Boy Media, Buster ESPN, and Jeff Passan also from ESPN to keep us to have us included with that esteemed list. My God, that was kind of a shocker tonight. That's our thoughts. I'll send you the show when Jim gets her done, and maybe you can retweet it and get everything else going out there. That's what we thought. Once again, thank you very much for including us with a couple of ESPN heavyweights.
I'm ready.
1420 Sports Podcast, Four Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. And sometimes we have those days and we have those moments where things just piss us off and you don't know what to do about it, but vent and rant and rave. And there's nothing you can really do about it. If they piss you off, they piss you off. And usually, Dave, you don't think about it. You just get mad for about 30 seconds and it goes away. And it's just how things are sometimes.
Without a doubt, especially. Well, it's always things out of my control that piss me off. I would say 98% of the things that piss me off are things out of my control.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Dave, I got one. Just we'll start it off. Me and my mother and the producer were going to Vancouver Island to spend the Christmas holidays with my sister and my brother out there. And for some, fuck, it pisses me off. The exact same flight to the exact same destination at the exact same price or the exact same time of day goes up in price. Fuel went down in price, which it has. What pisses me off is that fucking the airline price went up. Nothing's fucking changed. The people who are flying the airplane, they're getting paid the same. The flight attendants, they're getting paid the same. The people give me a beer at Chili's in the airport are getting paid the same. That pisses me off that the fucking airline is charging me more for that exact same flight that I paid for 3 weeks ago for the 22nd of December. That pisses me off.
I don't think you're gonna like what I'm gonna have to say here, man.
Well, it's consumer, but Dave, don't say supply and demand, because you know what? That fucking flight that I was on was also full, so it's the same fucking demand.
How would you like
same demand?
It's
the same demand, Dave. Don't even start.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It wasn't the same demand.
The flight only has the same amount of seats. The same airplane.
How many seats were they selling on that flight 1 year ago?
I don't give a fuck.
What? Zero. Zero, 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 zero. I am gonna you know what? It's I can't believe I am defending the airline industry here right now.
Fuck, you know what? Right now you're pissing me off.
But since COVID hit, that's an industry I am so thankful I am not in. I am so thankful I am not in the service industry or the bar industry or the restaurant industry, because I can understand what it's like for them. And I am going to actually, for the first time, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
I cannot believe this, Dave. We might break up.
I'm gonna. You want to step outside? Do you want to say that to my face?
you want to meet the front gate?
Meet at the bike racks.
Meet the bike racks after school.
I understand how it pisses you off. I really do. But I do have a bit of a soft spot for industries that was hit the hardest by the vid. So I'm sorry.
Then increase the fucking people working those flights wages. Don't take it off yourself, fucking corporate cocksuckers. That pisses me off. Anyways,
we got to go next.
Okay, we got Mike Tarness, a longtime listener, been on the show before. One thing that pissed him off, and I kind of get it. He sent this out. Can we just get through one international hockey night in Canada or Sportsnet where they talk about the game? Highlights, rumors, etc. Have some funny or positive stories. Can we just do one of those shows again like hockey used to be? Do we always have to have the tired, every intermission, some form of social justice, political story out there? Not so much social justice, because I get it, because social justice needs an outlet to get to. I get that. But can we just watch a fucking game sometimes?
I hear what you're saying, but I don't hear what you're saying. I'll take your word for it, because when I do watch any game, when halftime or the period starts, I hit pause and then I go do my shit. And then I don't even listen. I don't even watch that shit anymore. So I didn't even know. I honestly have no idea excuse me, what the panel is talking about between periods, because I don't give a fuck. I stopped giving a fuck like 8 years ago. And why am I watching these people? As soon as I had the ability to pause on my TV screen or I'm now on my phone, I pause.
So you're actually agreeing with Tarness? Like, why the fuck? Like, why do these guys have to talk? Like,
Oh, I don't know. Like, when I stopped watching it, when they fired McLean and they put Strombopoulos in there, I gave him like
Strombopoulos? Was it Strombopoulos?
whatever.
You forgot some Greek consonants in there.
We all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then, like, I gave him like 1 or 2 chances. Like, no, I'm done. Bye. And then so I don't, because why would I? I'll hit pause, and then if I'm out someplace else, I'm at a friend's house. If I'm at an establishment, I'll go out and like I'm having a smoke. Like it adds no enjoyment to my thing. And like I mentioned earlier with why I've stopped watching, and which I've continued to do. I've stopped watching Red Zone on my NFL days. I've chosen a game to watch, and I do the same thing when I've chosen the game to watch. It's like I'll hit pause, I'll do my things, and then I'll catch up because I can skip commercials, because I can skip the dribble. All I want, really, as a sports fan, is to watch the game. I don't want to hear assholes talk about the game I'm watching. I want to subscribe to a podcast and listen to assholes talk about the game that I watched. That's what I want.
We may not know more, but we sure make it more entertaining. Anyways, yes. One other one, Dave, that got responded to on Twitter last night, the FJ podcast responded to us both. It says he's been a hockey fan for more than 40 years, seen every team that's played in the league since 1978. Boston Massholes are the worst hockey fans, but pale in comparison to the smugness of Astros fans and who know their team cheated their way to a championship. It's like, meh, whatever. I agree, man. Those Astros fans piss me off because those same fans, you watch back before they were winning, they were losing 105, 115 games a year. That building was empty, which I understand. No one goes to watch a loser. But now these fuckers, they're so like Altuve and Correa. Those fans are fucking worse than Red Sox fans. They piss me off as well. And I agree with FJ podcast.
If the Houston Astros were a president, it'd be Donald J. Trump.
Agreed.
What the fuck are you gonna do about it? We won.
Yeah.
And that's it. We won. Sorry, loser. Fuck you. Then that's them. And which you know what sucks about that? I like the Astros. I've said it. I've
good team.
I've actually seen Astros play live.
Good teams, good players.
Yes.
But smug assholes who cheated and won, and
I
happened.
like the Killer Bees. I like Jeff Kent when he was there. I was a fan of
these guys now, man. They're such a smug bunch of assholes. They piss me off.
Stinks. And so I'm no longer an Astros team, but it's a divorce by necessity because I don't agree with what you're doing right now anymore. It's not like they broke my heart. It's just like
fuck you off, man.
You've changed.
Yeah,
you've changed.
We've changed. Not me, it's you.
It is them. It ain't me. I was fine with the way things were.
I just said that wrong, Dave. I just said it's not me, it's you. That's how not to break up with a girl.
Like, no, that's exactly what it is with the Astros.
It's supposed to be. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah,
I've changed.
It's not me. It's
no,
you.
Man. I'm perfect. You've changed.
Yeah, fuck you.
I blew that one. Anyways,
cheating motherfucker.
Dave. So that pissed me off. I had a few more. We read a little long tonight, but we'll get into those later on. A couple more shows, I think, before Christmas. We'll do Tuesday, Thursday, and that might be it for the holiday season because we got family and friends and things to go on. Maybe we'll get a best of show put together somehow, some way. Put Jim to work, the sound guy. Jim, happy birthday! Hope you're not too hungover to put this one together because it's a highly entertaining show tonight. We think, Dave. What was your thoughts on tonight's show?
Oh, if I had 3 thumbs up, I'd put them up.
Yeah, once we put this on YouTube, you'll see 2 thumbs up and 2 thumbs up and a big smile. So anyways, it's a fun show tonight. Half-assed informative, half-assed thought-provoking, but anyways, provoking, whatever it is. Anyways, thank you once again to all the listeners. We're pushing towards 20,000 download mark. Hey, get us there before Christmas. We'd really appreciate the support. Give the gift of the Fortune 20 podcast over the holidays, and maybe listen to a few shows while you're wrapping presents or decorating the tree if you haven't done so yet.
Well, you're not listening to this while you're decorating the tree or wrapping presents. You're with boys shooting pool or whatever. Put us on, let everybody know, and disagree with us. No one likes being disagreed with more than me, because I'll talk you off the ledge.
There was a situation yesterday where someone was disagreeing with me, and I loved it even more. Anyways, the 1420 podcast, 4 Beer Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. Jim's birthday is Sunday. Jim, have one for us. Take care of each other, but more important, take care of yourself. You need you around. Keep your stick on the ice. And what else, Dave?
Happy birthday, no high swinging, Jimmy. Next year we get to go down to Montana for a New Year's when you're 21.
You'll be 21 years old. Hey, have a good night, folks. We'll talk again on Monday.